Good morning, good afternoon, good day, whatever time that you're watching us. Welcome to Manlaca Broadcast Network. And today we're having our health bulletin. And why we do health bulletin on Malacca Broadcast Network? Because we need to empower you to become healthy, to prevent, control, and reverse diseases. What for? So that you can live a long, vibrant life, fulfilling your dreams and your God-given purpose. You won't be able to fulfill the assignment that God has for your life if you're not healthy. And even though that the Lord is our healer, our physician, okay, and He can heal her, but we have to maintain that healing. If He decides that He's going to heal us as a miracle, then we need to maintain that healing. Okay, He gave us the wisdom and the tools in His Word in order for us to stay healthy. So that's why we need to learn. If we don't know how to be healthy and what our body needs, then we're not going to be able to do the things I need in order for us to work in the highest healing potential. Okay, so that's the reason why we do this health bulletin, to equip our ambassadors, because you have a lot to do. Okay, this world nowadays is going crazy, it's going bonkers. You need the word of God, you need kingdom minded individuals, okay, to take their post, to take their position in different countries, in different systems, so that we can spread the kingdom of God and the kingdom culture and kingdom living. Okay, because things are not looking very good in this world right now. Okay, so let's get ready. So let's start putting the PowerPoint. Today we're going to talk about diabetes. Do you know that we're getting busy? We're getting so busy with the pandemic and stuff like that, and we forgot all about diabetes. Diabetes become an epidemic. Diabetes has become an epidemic. So it's very important for us to learn about diabetes. Okay, and there's different type of diabetes, and we have diabetes type 1, we have diabetes type 2, and now we even have diabetes type 3. Okay, that they call it Alzheimer's disease is what they call diabetes type 3. So that's why it's so important for us to learn how to prevent, how to control, and how to reverse diabetes. Okay, so let's go. Oh, we started in the wrong slides. This is the first slide. Okay, so we need to, in order for us to reverse diabetes, we need to understand what is diabetes, how it works in our body, in order for us to understand how to reverse it, how to control it, and how to prevent it. Okay, so this talk here is for people that are either suffering of diabetes, okay, and want to take it under control, or people that have pre-diabetes. That means that the Lord is letting you know, listen, if you don't get straight, you're going to get diabetes. So this is the time for you to listen to this talk here so that you can learn to this bulletin. And for those who know that they have family history of diabetes and that their lifestyle that they having right now is not conducive to prevent diabetes, so they want to make sure that they prevent it. And that's the reason why they are. So if you know somebody in your family, in your congregation, your neighbor, your coworker, whoever it is, that you know that need this information, please share. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So as you can see, in some of the statistics when it comes to diabetes, they said that 37.3 million people of all ages have diabetes. And that was in 2019. So you know that these numbers keep growing. They said that they have 20.7 million people already diagnosed. Okay, and out of those people, 283,000 are adolescents and children. A lot of the kids and a lot of the teens don't take care of themselves, and they go, maybe mommy is telling them what to do at home, but when they go out, they eat whatever they want and things like that because they think they're young and they're going to live forever. But what they don't understand is that what you do in your youth is what's going to manifest in your adulthood. What you do in your as a children is what we're gonna manifest in your adulthood. Sometimes us as parents, okay, give whatever, especially when the children are young, between the ages of 1 and 6 years old, and they're picky eaters, and they don't want to eat anything, and all they want is garbage. And sometimes because we feel sorry that they're not eating absolutely anything else, we still give them the garbage. We have to learn how to give them healthier foods because we already at that point we already programming their body, we're already putting garbage in their body. Those cells are going to be multiplying, okay, and eventually they're going to cause disease at earlier age if we don't change the way that we are feeding our children. So that's so important that we do that. There's still 8.5 million people that are undiagnosed, that doesn't know that they have diabetes, okay? And they said that among the United States adults age 18 or older, 96 million or more than 1 in 3 are pre-diabetics. So there's 1 in 3 people are pre-diabetic. Okay, and what is pre-diabetic? Pre-diabetic is a person that have a sugar, okay, a fasting blood sugar between 100 and 120, and a hemoglobin A1C. A hemoglobin A1C is a test that tests how your sugar has been in the last 3 months. So if you have 5.9 to 6.4% in the hemoglobin A1C, plus a high fasting blood sugar that is between 100 to 120, then you are pre-diabetic. Okay, so how you know that? By going to the doctor and getting checked. Those are important. In order for you to know what you have to fight in your body, you need to find out first find out your history, so you know what the things that you have to prevent, and then do an assessment of your body by doing blood work and all that, so you know where you at. So those things are important. And they say it's a higher percentage of men, 41% of men and 32% of women that have diabetes. And usually men get sicker and die faster because men don't like to go to the doctor. Men don't like to eat healthy. A lot of men, take longer for, sometimes the wife's trying to get them to eat healthier, and you have to work a little, longer to get them to work and to eat healthier. So, and they don't like to go to doctors. That's one thing. Men don't like to go to doctors. By the time they go to the doctor, then things are already really bad. So that's why it's so important for you to at least get your yearly checkup to know how you're doing. So that way you can take charge into controlling and preventing and reversing whatever need to be done in order for you to be in optimal health. Okay? Okay, so it says there's actually 4 types of diabetes. We have diabetes type 1, that makes 10% of the people. Diabetes type 1 is where you are born with a deficiency on your pancreas, that is not working right. It's not making enough insulin or not making any insulin at all. Okay, so you are type 1. That means that you're going to need insulin administered to you in order to control and metabolize your sugar. Okay, and then we have type 2 diabetes. That's the one that 90% of the people have, and that is the diabetes that you earn like you earn your paycheck. It's a result of your lifestyle and your nutrition. Nobody else's fault but yours. You earn it as you earn your paycheck. It's a result of your lifestyle, that you a little bit of your health history, maybe a 3% of your health history when it comes to mommy had diabetes and papi have diabetes. That's why I have diabetes. That may be a 3% of the cost. But everything else that causes diabetes have to do with your lifestyle, and it has to do with your nutrition. Then we have gestational diabetes. When a woman gets diabetes during pregnancy. And they say that 60% of the people that suffer of gestational diabetes, 60% of the women, women, because only women can get pregnant, okay? Only women can get pregnant. Only a person that have a womb can get pregnant, okay? So 60% of the women that get pregnant, okay, and get gestational diabetes will, if they don't change their habits, if they don't change their eating habits and their lifestyle, they will have diabetes type 2 in the future, in the very near future. Okay, so that then they have what is called diabetes type 3, that is the what they call Alzheimer's, because when you have insulin resistance in the brain, the brain is the organ in your body that consumes more sugar. But imagine that the brain is the one that consumes more sugar, but we, okay, consume even more sugar than the brain needs, causing the diabetes type 3. So most likely, if you already suffer diabetes type 2 and it's uncontrolled, you have a 90% chance that you're going to have Alzheimer's in the future. So that's another thing that you want to prevent. Especially if you already have diabetes, then you want to prevent to get to diabetes type 3. Okay? Okay. So how you diagnose that you have diabetes? So like I tell you, there's 2 tests actually 3 tests that diagnose you have diabetes. You have the A1C, that's called the hemoglobin A1C. It's that test that gives us a percentage of how your sugar has been in the last 3 months. So if you're a diabetic, you're going to get that test done by your doctor every 3 months. That way he knows if the treatment, because and then the good thing about this test is that you cannot lie to your doctor. You cannot tell to your doctor, oh, I'm eating healthy and I'm exercising, because that test is going to reveal everything. Remember what the word says, that what you do in the dark will come to the light. Okay? What you do in the dark will come to the light. So this test will let the doctors know if you are really taking the treatment, and if the treatment is working, and if you're really doing your diet. Okay? And then you have the fasting blood sugar test. Is the one that you do in the morning before you eat, after at least 8 hours of fasting, and that will tell you how your sugar is doing. And then you have your glucose tolerance test. That glucose tolerance test is a test that they do where they give you something that have a high content of sugar, and they already know how much is it. They take your blood work first fasting, then they give you this drink that tastes horrible, and then they wait an hour or 2 hours depending on what the doctor requested, and they check your sugar there. It's to see how quick do your body metabolize that sugar, and that way they see if you're diabetic or not. So if you have diabetes, if you have a A1C that is 6.5 or above, if you have a fasting blood sugar that is 126 or above, and if you have a glucose tolerance test that is 200 and above. You are pre-diabetic if you have a 5.7 to 6.4 hemoglobin A1C, you have a fasting blood sugar of 100 to 125, and you have a glucose tolerance test that is 140 to 199. And then you are normal if you have below 5.7 in your hemoglobin A1C, below 99 in your fasting blood sugar, and a glucose tolerance less than 140. Okay, so that's how they diagnose if you have diabetes. Okay, so how this all insulin and the diabetes work? As you can see here, this is the cell. Okay, so you eat something, your sugar goes into the bloodstream. The sugar cannot go by itself to the cells. So the pancreas will secrete the insulin, and the insulin is like a little truck with a key that will carry the sugar, and it will travel to the cell, and the cell has some pathway like a little garage, and then the insulin is like the key that will open the garage, okay, and then can dump the sugar into the cell. And then inside the cell, there's an organ called the mitochondria, okay, and the mitochondria use that sugar for energy and oxygen, and an energy that it makes is called ATP, and that's how it works. So every cell in our body, from the top of the head to the bottom of our feet, need the energy in order to move and work in the highest healing potential. So it needs the sugar, but it doesn't need that much sugar. Okay, so that's something that is totally very important. So remember, this is the cell. The cell have the pathways. Okay, you eat something, and then the insulin, the pancreas, will secrete the insulin. Is it working properly? And the insulin will take the sugar out of the bloodstream, carry it to the cell. The insulin is like the key that will open the garage and then dump the sugar there, and the mitochondria be able to use the sugar as it's supposed to and metabolize the sugar like it's supposed to. But what happened when that key is not fixing in the pathway, in the keyhole, okay, or the garages are damaged? Then you get insulin resistant, because now you have all this insulin trying to open the garages to dump the sugar, and it cannot dump the sugar anymore. And that's when you become insulin resistant, and this is when you become pre-diabetic and diabetic. The more that happens, the more closer you are to diabetes, if you are not taking care of the problem that is causing the insulin resistance. Okay, so that's something that you need to know. Go to the next one. So, like I was explaining, what is insulin resistant? It's when the cell is not accepting the glucose anymore. It's not accepting the insulin anymore. Why they're not accepting the insulin anymore? It can be because inflammation all around the cell. It can be because oxidative stress has damaged the integrity of the cells, and now the garages are damaged. Okay, it could be because you are so stressed and you have cortisol, and the cortisol is taking the energy and the sugar away from the cells of the muscles, and it's coming only to the extremities, because your body is thinking that you're supposed to be running from a lion. So that's many reasons why. Maybe you have so much toxicity in your body, okay, that have caused so much free radical that you have damaged yourself. So, when the doctor tells you that you're diabetic, there's more than one reason why you are diabetic. It's not just because you're eating a lot of sugar. There's other reasons in your lifestyle, body, mind, and spirit that contribute of you having diabetes, okay? So it becomes a cycle. You eat the food, you make the insulin, the cells resist the insulin, and then the second job of the insulin is that when the insulin cannot get the sugar into the cells, then it take it to the liver to convert it into fat. So isn't that an oxymoron that we tell our diabetic patients, you need to lose weight, but then we give them insulin? If you are not correcting the insulin resistance on this patient, okay, we are not correcting the insulin resistance in the patient, how are you gonna believe that you're gonna get them to lose weight? If you're giving them the insulin that is gonna take all that sugar that cannot go in and convert it into fat and convert it into triglycerides and cholesterol in the liver, giving you a fatty liver. Okay, so that's something that is very, very, very important for you to know. Next. So what are the symptoms of insulin resistance? That means that you're going to have diabetes, that you are pre-diabetic. What are the symptoms? There are two factors that we need to. The symptoms are you have acne, you have skin tags, you have belly fat, your triglycerides and your cholesterol are high, you have high fasting blood sugars, you tire after a meal. You have some people, before they get high sugars, they get this hypoglycemic episode, low blood sugars, because then they're not making enough. That happened with the people that are not making enough insulin, okay? Or either the insulin that is coming out of the pancreas are not optimized, it's not in the best condition, okay? And let me tell you something that this is like a extra over here. When you eat white flour, okay, white flour, any white flour that you eat that is baked into your cookies and into your bread and into your cakes and into your desserts, anything that is white flour, that they take the husk and the covering and the fiber out of it, okay, they use a chemical called acetylene to bleach that particular grain. When they use that causes damage to the beta cells of the pancreas. The beta cells of the pancreas, you see the pancreas have beta cells, and then they have cells that produce enzymes. So the beta cells are the one that produce insulin. Okay, if they damage the beta cells, then the quality of the insulin that is coming out of your pancreas is not excellent. So if it's not excellent, okay, you might be producing too much insulin and causing low blood sugar instead. Okay, or not enough, or the insulin cannot carry that much sugar to the cells. It can work both ways. So that's why some can present into low blood sugar episodes. Another thing that happens when you have insulin resistance is hair loss, cravings of sweets, fatty liver, because remember the insulin that you are not using, the sugar that you're not using, the insulin is transferring to the liver, converted into fat. So the liver converted into fat and store it there, and then convert some into cholesterol and into triglycerides. You can have PCOS. That's PCOS that have to do with your ovaries. Some of the ladies that have how you say that, they have ovarian cysts, they have that condition, and that's also a symptom that you are pre-diabetic, and though you're going to be diabetic. Another thing that happens is that for men, when you have a decrease in testosterone and low muscle tone in a man, if they have decrease in testosterone and low muscle tone, okay, guys, listen to me, that means that you have a risk for diabetes. And remember, if you have low muscle tone, okay, your genitals need that muscle tone, okay? And men that suffer of diabetes, that have that problem with the nerves and with the muscles, then they're going to start suffering or erectile dysfunction. So this is a reason, people, why you need to take care of yourself and make sure that you prevent, reverse, and control diabetes. The next thing is gout. Okay, you can get, that's another symptom. Gout is a protein that accumulates in your joints sometimes and cause pain, and it's a result of eating too much protein and not being able to use it properly, and that's what happened. You get gout. Okay, so what are the symptoms that you know that these are the symptoms that you can feel? But how you can say without having to go to the doctor and test yourself, how can I say I have pre-diabetic? Okay, or I'm in my way to get diabetes if I don't do nothing. So what are the risk factors? If you have a waist circumference, if your waist circumference for a man is more than 40 and for a woman is more than 35, you have a risk to be pre-diabetic. And I'm talking about the fat that is in your belly. That fat in your belly is the worst fat. If you have a pear shape where you have a small waist and flat tummy, but you have a big hip and butt, you have lower risk of diabetes than a person that have an apple shape type of body. Okay, where the belly is on the front. If you have a beer belly, the guys that drink, I know none of our ambassadors over here does, but if they did in the past and now they still have the belly big, protruding belly. If you have a protruding belly, that means that you are holding fat in this area and that you have a fatty liver. And that's a risk. Okay, if you have bad cholesterol that is high, okay, and let me tell you something, you might have a flat tummy, but there's something called the skinny fat. That means that they have a good metabolism where they don't retain fat in the outside of the cells, but they have a lot of fat in the inside of the cells, meaning that they are having cholesterol and triglycerides high. Okay, so if your triglycerides are high and your cholesterol are high, then you have a risk of having diabetes. If you suffer high blood pressure, you are at risk of suffering diabetes. And if you have high blood sugar, you have a risk to suffering diabetes. So if you have three of these symptoms over here in the right of this picture, that's called metabolic syndrome. And when you have metabolic syndrome, they don't only put you at risk of diabetes, it also put you at risk of heart disease, strokes, heart attacks, and autoimmune diseases and cancer. Okay, so if you can control this, then you will reduce your risk for those diseases. Okay. Now, what are the root cause of insulin resistance and diabetes? Okay, what are the root cause? The first thing that is one of the root causes of diabetes is oxidative stress. So what is oxidative stress? Oxidative stress is when your cells rust. Okay, so everything that we consume, everything that we think, everything that we eat, everything that we put in our skin, every single thing that we do that, okay, the body have to metabolize it. When the body metabolizes it, the body makes free radicals. Okay, and the more free radicals that you have, that means negative ions in your cells, the more damage it causes to the cell, because now those free radicals, they are negative and they want to become positive. So they say, listen, I don't want to be by myself anymore. I want to be positive. I want to get a spouse. Let me go to the next cells. And so they damage this cell to go to the next cell, and what they do is accumulate more bad things, more free radicals, and they continue to do the same thing over and over and over. So depending on what stage of the cycle of the living of that cell is going, you might multiply that cell's damage. That's what they call zombie cells. They're no longer functioning properly, and they're still multiplying because of the oxidative stress. So if you can see in the picture on the right, that's oxidative happen to apples, to fruits, to natural foods. So you can see the picture. That's how a tomato look. That's how a tomato look when you have free radical damage. At the end, that's when it's completely damaged, and that is called oxidative cell, where you completely rusted. And you can see how the cell. So if you see in the bottom where it says normal cell have a nice form, and when it's attacked with free radicals, the forms are already changing. So when the form is already changing, what happened? You might be jamming those garage doors, those pathways for the different for the sugar and pathway for the different nutrients that have to come into the cells that are not going to be able to because the pathways are jammed. Okay, and also when the cell is completely damaged, then your immune system might say, oh, wait a minute, that cell doesn't belong there, I need to attack it. And what it does, it causes an inflammation response around the cells. So if that cell have maybe one or two garages that was working, now it's going to have none because the inflammation is covering it. And what happened with inflammation is that inflammation is like, for example, let's say you see a fly in the wall, okay, and you take a fly, spatula to kill it, and when you kill it, you kill the fly, but you won't damage the wall because that is not strong enough to damage the wall. But inflammation by your immune system not only will kill the fly, but it's like using an RX-7, a big gun and going pop, 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 pop. So it damaged the cell that it want to damage and everything around it. That's why when you have inflammation, it causes disease. Okay? So what are factors that cause insulin resistance and diabetes? What are the factors? The factors are family history. If you have a parent, a brother, or a sister that have type 1 diabetes, age, and out of all of this here, that's the only two that you cannot control. And not necessarily, because there's a lot of people out there that you might be chronological one age, but biological you're younger. Because there's things that you can do to stay younger, biological and cell wise, to keep your telomeres longer and keep your cells younger. So even age you can control when it comes to your biological age. But family history is one thing that you cannot control. Also, the factors that you might have insulin resistant will be having prediabetes, being overweight, but not necessarily. Remember, I talked to you before about the skinny fat. Being older than 45. Have a partner, a brother, sister. I put that twice. Have a brother, sister that have type 2 diabetes. Are physically active less than 3 times a week. If you're not an active person and you're not sleeping well, you have a risk to have insulin resistance and diabetes. You have high level of stress. Okay, you also have a risk to be diabetic or pre-diabetic. If you have mitochondrial dysfunction, that means the mitochondria is so damaged because of the free radicals, okay, and the stress inside the cell that is not able to take that sugar. Maybe the sugar get inside the cell, but it cannot be converted properly into energy because the mitochondria is not working properly. Okay. If you have if you're a woman and you have gestational diabetes in your pregnancy, then you are overweight, then you are going to have a bigger chance to have diabetes. If you are African American, Hispanic, Native, Alaska Native person, and some Pacific, Islander, and Asian American people are also have a higher risk of getting diabetes or pre-diabetes. If you have a non-alcoholic fatty liver, okay, you are more risk to have diabetes type 2. So, like I told you, the fatty liver comes because now the body cannot use the sugar properly, convert it into fat, and now the liver is taking too much fat, too much at a time, and it's causing the fatty liver. Let me give you a tip to correct the fatty liver. And I did this with one of my clients a few weeks ago, and it worked perfectly. My client had a fatty liver that it was diagnosed via an ultrasound, plus her liver enzymes were elevated. Okay. So I tell her, okay, every morning, take 1 teaspoon of organic extra virgin olive oil that come from one source of olives. Okay, so real good olive oil. Take 1 teaspoon of olive oil, mix it with 1 teaspoon of lemon juice and a pinch of cayenne pepper, and take that every single day, fasting for a week, and repeat your liver enzymes. She did that, and she went from normal levels to normal levels in a week doing this tip. Okay, so remember, 1 teaspoon, write it down, 1 teaspoon, okay, of virgin organic olive oil that comes from one source of olive, okay, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, mix it together, okay? And then one one pinch of cayenne pepper, or a little bit more if you can resist that, a little bit more of the cayenne pepper. And you can take that, and that will correct your non-alcoholic fatty liver. Another risk is a SAD diet, high in carbohydrate. SAD diet is a standard American diet that is high in carbs and processed foods. Okay, and the last things that also put you in risk are toxins that come from the food, from the environment, for your cosmetics, for your personal care products, for your cleaning products. All these toxins are going to cause free radicals. The free radicals are going to damage the cell is going to cause inflammation, and that is going to cause disease. Okay, so that's another risk factor for diabetes. So how can we prevent? Now we're coming to the part that all of you want to hear. How can you prevent and reverse diabetes? The first things that you want to do is avoid all carbohydrates as they raise high blood sugar, especially anything with a white flour. Anything with a white flour you want to avoid. You want to avoid sugary drinks, especially sodas, juices, especially the ones that you buy out there in the store. They all have tons and tons of sugar. And another thing is that when you buy these things that have a lot of sugar, is they have high fructose corn syrup. The high fructose corn syrup, our body don't metabolize it properly. It goes directly into the liver, and it causes the fatty liver. Okay, so you want to make sure that you don't drink anything. If you want to buy a juice or whatever, let's say you are healthy, you don't have prediabetes, you just want to have a juice once in a while, make sure that it's not made with high fructose corn syrup. Make sure that you just use your juicer at home and make it at home. Okay, you want to restrict your feeding time. You want to practice intermittent fasting. Okay, you want to consume coffee and tea because those are help with the sugar, but without sugar. Coffee and tea. If you need to sweeten your coffee or tea, you want to use monk fruit sugar, or you want to use a stevia. Those two are good. You want to consume healthy fats like avocado oil, like olive oil, like ghee, like coconut oil. Those are the healthy fats. Okay, and you want to have high quality protein in every single day. Okay, that's ways to prevent diabetes. Another thing that you want to make sure that you do in order for you to prevent diabetes is you want to have a healthy gut. If you cannot absorb your nutrients properly, you're not going to be able to reduce your insulin risk, your diabetes risk. So healing your gut, and bone broth, for example, is a good way to heal your gut. Okay, you want to get rid of anything that have gluten, because remember that gluten have a high risk of inflammation. So if you have a risk of inflammation, you have a high risk to block the passages for the insulin. So you want to make sure that to eat gluten-free as much as possible. You want to make sure that you eliminate all the toxins that you have in your house. Try to use DIY recipes or buy green, what they call green ingredients and things like that, so that the cleaning products, the air fresheners, the candles, all that eliminate and make all things natural. Okay, put a diffuser with essential oils instead. Your cosmetics, try to buy cosmetics that are natural. Or maybe you can go to a pharmacy. That is a good place to buy cosmetic that doesn't have the parabens and all the different type of toxins. Okay, you want to also eliminate the toxin of the cleaning, like I said. Eliminate all the fried food. You don't want to fry food. Eliminate all the food cooked in canola oil or vegetable oils, no vegetable oils at all. You want to make sure that if you cook, you want to use olive oil, ghee, avocado oil. Those are the things that you want to use to cook. Okay, coconut oil. And make sure that you exercise. Okay, exercise and relieve stress. You need to relieve stress. It's one of the things that you need to do. It's very important in order for you to reverse diabetes. Okay, but I have my own protocol that I use with my clients to prevent and reverse diabetes. The key on my protocol is for you to reduce inflammation, to reduce oxidative stress. Okay, so you can reduce insulin and you can reverse insulin resistance. You need to reverse the fatty liver, and you need to correct this deficiency. Vitamin D3 is essential when it comes to your sugar levels. Zinc is essential for the cells, for the mitochondria to work properly. Magnesium is needed for over 300 metabolic processes, so it's needed to metabolize the sugar, and potassium is needed. So those are the one of the deficiencies that you want to correct, and you want to be able to reduce inflammation, oxidate. So how you do that? The first thing that I do is that I start removing sugar, because remember that sugar is the main culprit of why you have diabetes. So we want to do a sugar detox and a liver detox. While you're doing the sugar detox, we're going to do a liver detox. We're going to remove all that. We're going to do a detox of all the cosmetics and the things that you use at home and the environment. All that are going to be detox. Then we're going to get moving. We're going to start exercising. We're going to start by first at walking, making sure that every single day you're doing your 10,000 steps. You're going to start gradually. Of course, the first day that you walk, you're not going to work 10,000 steps, but gradually you're going to be adding until you work your 10,000 steps. And then at least 3 to 4 times a week, you do some strength or weight exercises. Then we're going to work in reducing stress, working with your mindset, working with past dramas, your spiritual health, optimizing your morning and your sleeping routine, that most of the things that you do to work your mindset and your spirituality can happen during your morning and your night routine. And then the right routine, you really want to optimize your sleeping routine, because it is essential for the body and for the cells to be able to reconstruct themselves and reprogram themselves and multiply and do the cleaning up of the cells that are not working. All that happen when you're sleeping. A lot of metabolic processes happen when we're sleeping. So optimizing your sleeping routine is essential. Then we're going to introduce intermittent fasting with an anti-inflammatory diet, low in carb, according to your needs. It can be a vegan diet or a keto diet, but according to your needs. Okay, we're going to start. And then listen, when you're starting this intermittent diet, okay, if you're already taking medication, if you're already a diabetic that is on insulin and in medication, you need to be under a care of a professional. And also, if you're doing it with your doctor, it's perfect. But if you're not doing it with your doctor, then you need a professional, and that professional has to be in total communication with your doctor, because as your sugar lowers, then the doctor has to adjust your medication. So it's very important that you do it together with a professional. Okay, if you're already in diabetic and using insulin. Okay, another thing I'm almost done here. So another thing is that you have to add supplements and herbs that will optimize your sugar metabolism, lower inflammation, lower oxidative stress, and optimize your mitochondrial function. You have to check your sugar levels with a glucometer 4 times a day. Now, if you are really serious about reversing diabetes, if you already have diabetes, it is essential for you to check your sugar. If you have pre-diabetes, it's also essential. So if you're pre-diabetic, you don't have a diagnosis of diabetic, so your insurance is not going to cover the glucometer and the strips. But you need to invest on your health, because if you don't invest in that, you have to invest more in insulin. Okay, so you need to go to Walmart. That's where you can find a cheaper one and find a glucometer and strips. If you're already diabetic, you need to talk to your doctor so that he can authorize more strips a day, because now that you change your diet, that you're changing your lifestyle, that you're introducing some foods and supplements that are going to reduce and metabolize your sugar better, then you're going to be needing less medication. You need to optimize. You need to know how your sugar is doing. You need to know how your sugar is reacting to the different foods and the different herbs and the different supplements, and document it so you can take it to the doctor. You need to log all these changes so you can take it to the doctor. Okay, you need to check your sugar levels with a glucometer like 4 times a day minimum. And then you need to do a total. When you come to me, you have to do a total blood work at the beginning, so I know how your liver, how your kidneys, how everything is doing. Okay, how your sugar levels and stuff like that. So that way we know exactly how to strategize and what herbs you can use, what herbs you cannot use, what supplements you need, what not. What is, because health is totally individual. Diet is totally individual. There's what is called bioindividuality. The reason why you have diabetes is not the same reason that other person have diabetes. But the doctors and the medical field will treat everybody the same when it's not. There's different reasons why you are in the situation that you are. Okay, so you need to do the blood work there, and then you need to do the blood work at the end to see how we are. And then you need to make sure that you have frequent visits to the doctor, like I mentioned before, so that he can monitorize the medication and adjust accordingly, whether he need to adjust and lower dosages or start removing medication. Okay, because a coach, a holistic practitioner, a chiropractor cannot do that. Only your physician is the only one that can remove. What we do is we help you get it down, you document everything, and we make sure that we make your doctor aware so he can do all the adjustment. Okay. The next thing that you want to add into your that I add into my people diet will be nutrients that will help to manage diabetes. And what are those nutrients? Magnesium, that you can find in spinach, avocado, shards, and all the ones that you see there. Chromium is a great help you balance your sugar cravings and help you metabolize the sugar. You can find it in those foods there. Another thing is chlorophyll. So you can have it in a green juice or having the vegetables in your dinner, and then add more fiber. And this is, like you see the picture here, this is how your plate is supposed to look. Half of your plate have to have non-starch vegetables, either bake, grill, or steam. Okay, no fry, please, unless it's an air fry. That's half of the plate need to look like that. Then you have a quarter of a plate have to have a protein, and then a quarter of a plate will have a healthy starch, carbohydrate like sweet potatoes, quinoa, maybe a little bit of brown rice, lentils, beans. Those things will go in that carbohydrate area. But in my protocol, it all depends how much carbohydrate you can have, depends on how your sugar is doing. So as you can see here, if your fasting blood sugar is less than 110, you can have healthy starch carb for breakfast and lunch only. But if your sugar is above 110, no starchy carbs through the whole day. And never eat carbs in your dinner. Your dinner have to be your vegetables, okay, and your protein, to help you reduce your sugar and reverse diabetes. Okay. What are herbs that you can incorporate in your cooking as a tea, in your smoothies, in your juices? If you juice at home, that will help you control you and lower your sugar. You have cinnamon. You know that cinnamon. I remember when I was working in the doctor's office, I have patients, that are in insulin, but they want to eat whatever. So what they do is that they eat whatever and then they apply more insulin. What they don't understand is that, one, they're doing more damage, because if that insulin is not getting the sugar into the cells, okay, it's going to convert it into fat. So now you're getting fatter, so you're going to get more sugar, okay? And they are also finishing the ration of insulin that they're giving for the month that the insurance cover earlier. So I have patients that did that finished the insulin earlier, and the insurance will not pay for another insulin earlier. Okay, so what happened? I will tell them, take the cinnamon pills, put it in your coffee, but everything cinnamon, and that will control the sugar a lot. Okay, a lot, until they got not perfect, because their sugar was 200, 300 and higher, but it will lower, it will put their sugar less than 200 until they got the insulin. So cinnamon is great. You have cloves, rosemary, oregano. You got sage. You got the turmeric, the ginger, the cayenne, and I do what is called here in my house, what I call a ginger turmeric shot. And the ginger turmeric shot, what I do is that I use ginger, turmeric, pineapple. I put garlic. Also, I put the cayenne pepper and black pepper on it, and I make the shots. And we drink that every single day, because me and my husband, we both were pre-diabetics before. Okay, and then other remedies, other herbals, like the aloe vera and the cinnamon. You see, it's there twice. The bitter melon, the Salacia oblongata, the fenugreek, the Jimena. So the Jimena is excellent, because what the Jimena does is put so much fiber into your tummy that you feel full, so you eat less. Okay, and then the ginseng. And the good things about the herbals that help you with the sugars also help for many other things. For example, clove and rosemary is good seasoning for your food. It's also good for the memory. It's good for your hair. It's good for your skin. Oregano is not only is good to lower blood sugar, but it's an excellent antibiotic as well as garlic. Garlic not only help you lower your cholesterol, but also help you lower your high blood pressure as well. So you see, the good thing about natural things is that their side effects are good. They can help for more than one thing. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to take all this at once. No. That's why bioindividuality is so important, to know the case, to know the lifestyle, to do that health history form first, so you know exactly what that client or what that person or what you need in order to help you. Because the cinnamon might work really good for some people, but not so good for others. So that's why, or the carry might work for these people, but no, or that person might have already low blood pressure. You might not want to give that much garlic because it's going to lower the blood pressure. So that's why it is important to know the whole history, so you know exactly which herbs to take. Some people, they go and anything that they announce, any herb, any vitamin, they want to take it all. And the problem about taking it all is that anything that you do need to be metabolized, and your liver have to clear all that stuff. So you're overloading your liver when you're taking too many things, even when it's natural. Okay? So it's very important for you to know that. And last, what kind of supplements you need to optimize your gut health, reduce inflammation, optimize your mitochondrial function, and lower oxidative stress. So you're going to need the vitamin D3. You're going to need magnesium. You're going to need omega. The vitamin D3 not only help you lower your sugar, but it's also help you with health, with heart health, with bone health. Okay, so it's very needed for your body. Magnesium, like I tell you, is over more than 300 metabolic and enzymatic reactions in your body. Omega-3 lower inflammation. Okay, lower triglycerides and cholesterol as well. The probiotic and the digestive enzyme is going to help you absorb all the nutrients and make sure that you have your microbiome balanced. You have your good bacteria there to do their job and optimize the immune system. The cinnamon with chromium is going to help you lower your sugar. Your resveratrol is an antioxidant that's going to optimize the health of the cell. It's going to help also lowering a little bit of your free radicals. The CoQ10 is going to give you the energy and make sure that the mitochondria work better. And then the NRF2 and NRF1, these NRF2 and NRF1 are proteins inside the cell that will activate the cell. Okay. For example, the NRF1 will activate the cell to make more mitochondria and to optimize the function of the already there mitochondria in the cell, because the cells can have more than one mitochondria. And then the NRF2 will reduce the oxidative stress by activating your cell to produce the natural antioxidants. So, for example, if you buy antioxidants outside, and you take antioxidant, we make so much. It's like a 3 with 23 zeros. Okay, that's how much free radicals we make an hour. So eating a lot of vegetables or taking a lot of supplements of antioxidants is not going to reduce that. But if you activate your body to make the antioxidants like glutathione and catalase and sodium mutilase, that are the antioxidant that Almighty God created inside ourselves, and we activate those, because as we get older, after 20, we make less until we don't make no more. So if you activate those processes to make more of our natural antioxidants, enzymes, it will clean up the cells even better. It will reduce your free radicals within 30 days, less than 40%. I mean, a little more than 40%, sorry, more than 40%. So those are the way that you can reduce your oxidative stress. So these are the things that you need in order. You might not need all of it, but depending on the case, we know exactly what everybody needs. Okay? But activating your body is something that everybody needs. Activating your body to strengthen the mitochondria and to reduce the oxidative stress. And as a result, that will reduce your inflammation. Okay? Then that's something that everybody needs. And this is what we need in order for you to reverse and prevent diabetes. So I hope this information help you, that you share this information with everybody, because you know diabetes, it's almost everybody has it, and the ones that doesn't know are even more. Okay, so it's very important for you to share this information, share this YouTube everywhere. Make sure that you sign in into this YouTube, become a member, so that way you can get all this information, the information about how the Word of God, as well as the information how to take care of yourself. Okay, because remember that if you don't take care of yourself and you don't be healthy, how can you be able to help the world? How can you be able to fulfill that purpose that God has given you? So it's important, it's essential as ambassadors of God for us to take care of our health. It's a must. Even Jesus Christ make it very important, because everywhere he went, he healed people. He knew that in order not only to glorify himself and for the people to know that he was the Son of God and what God can do for you, but he knew, okay, he could do it in a different way. He could do it by giving them money. He couldn't do it by getting them a good job, or making them prettier and slimmer, or whatever, other things. But he did it by healing people, because he knows how important for all it is to function and to be in a vibrant health, so we can fulfill our God-given purpose and the dreams that God has put inside of us. Okay, and remember that your dreams, if you're in God and you put God first, okay, you can get the desires of your heart, because the desires of God will be aligned with the Word of God, with the will of God for your life, so that you'll be able to get the desires of your heart. So remember what I always tell you, that the doctor is responsible for your sick care, but you, yes, you are responsible of your health care. So I'll see you next week. God bless you.